All right, so today we've got another Modern Delusion episode. We're watching a podcast where a group of women, mostly single moms, try to convince men that being a stepdad is the ultimate display of masculinity. Meanwhile, the guys are sitting there like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. And here's the thing. It's not hate, it's logic. Men are expected to fund someone else's choices, raise another man's child, and somehow be called alpha for doing it. That's not strength. That's strategy failure. So in this video, we're going to break it all down. The contradictions, the emotional manipulation, the rebranding of weakness as bravery. This one's for the guys who ever got told, real men raise other men's kids. Let's see how that logic holds up when you actually say it out loud.
You're on a business trip. You guys are businessmen. You're doing your thing. You're traveling. You meet this beautiful girl. She's classy. She's successful. She's smart. You really enjoy her company. She's 27 years old. She's an accountant. She makes $100 grand a year, and she has a 3-year-old son. The good news is he's potty trained. Where do you gentlemen with no kids that I know about go from here? McQueen.
She's done. She's just getting hit, and that's it.
So you're banging her.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what happens?
And then sayonara, bitch, you know?
That's
Would
it.
you lie to her to get in her pants, or would you be like, yeah, I'm only here to fuck? Like,
Well, I mean, if I do I know that she has a kid from the get-go?
yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Then yeah, no. I mean, I'm just immediately just trying to fuck. That's it for sure.
That's
Well,
it.
would
So
you
that
tell
is-
her that?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is the part modern women hate to hear, but deep down, they already know it's true. The average guy isn't sitting there thinking, wow, she's a mom. What a turn on. No, he's thinking, she's fun for the night, but she's already made her choices. And here's the thing. She's 27, makes 6 figures, got a kid, and modern society calls that a catch. But to most men, that's a liability package with lip gloss on it. Men date forward. We think about our legacy, our future kids, our resources. We don't want to invest in a woman who already gave the best years of her life, and her womb, to another man. I'm not being cruel, it's just biological math. But the irony is, when a man says this honestly, he's labeled toxic. Yet if a woman says she won't date a broke guy with roommates, suddenly she's setting standards. So the honesty this dude's showing here? The girls will hate it, but they'd respect it more if men stopped pretending otherwise.
Yeah.
David, you meet this girl. What do you do?
I made this mistake last time and found out the hard way. That's actually kind of how I came upon some of these podcasts about the
Really?
red pill stuff. Yeah, I
What
think
was the situation?
I'm sorry.
single mom, had been divorced. I think the problem is that men look at that very differently than the women do. It's hard to get our perspectives to be aligned, right? So
Okay.
her perspective was very defensive. It wasn't, I made bad choices in life that brought me here. I'm grateful someone's giving me a chance. It was, my kid's amazing. I'm amazing. You're lucky to be here. It was very hard to get on the perspective I had, which was, this is definitely not ideal. I'm going out of my comfort zone. I'm expecting quite a bit of appreciation on it. And they were like, I don't owe you anything.
Thanks,
Some
feminism,
other guy-
right? Am I right?
And I was like, that was a bad investment.
Troy, you're at the club. You meet this gorgeous girl. You know her situation. She's got the 3-year-old. His name's Dylan, by the way.
Nice
What are
name.
you doing with the girl?
I mean, look, I personally, for me, I wouldn't want to get into something serious with a woman who has a kid. That's just no disrespect to single mothers. That's just in my life. That's just not something that I would want to take on. So it would have to be casual, and I would make that pretty clear up front.
You'd be up front. You're not going to do the McQueen approach where you just, gotcha, bitch.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, the way that I tend to move, I'm not going to be sitting down with her having, you know, if this is kind of a one-night stand situation, sitting down to her, sort of, right, just to be clear, these are the terms of our engagement. I'm not going to be that sort of specific about it, but she's going to kind of know from my vibe. She's going to get the idea, because I'm traveling a lot anyway, do you know what I mean? So the whole setup is not going to be one that is likely to be leading towards something long-term. But so that would be my answer. I mean, effectively the same as McQueen's, but I'd probably soften the blow a little
Kevin,
bit.
do you have a different response?
I don't avoid single moms. I've dated a few single moms, but I've found a selfish trait amongst most of them. There's not one single mom that I haven't dated who has not said something to the effect of, you know, what's important about you being around is I want my kid to see his or her mother being loved right. And I'm like, what do you want, fucking make out in front of the kid? He's already confused enough as it is. He's wondering, where's dad and who the fuck is this? That's all the kid is wondering. Any of us that had step parents and shit, most of us met our step parents like 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody's drunk, and it's like, son, Jim is here because your father ain't shit. And it's like very confusing. So I really do take children and their youth and upbringing and innocence very serious. So really, I don't give a shit what the mom wants. I'm thinking in terms of like what's best for the kid that you have. I'll think for your kid before you do, and think all this is going to bring him is confusion. You need to completely keep these worlds separate if you're going to fuck with
So
them.
you're saying that
I couldn't agree more. Most single moms don't even realize how selfish they sound when they say stuff like, I just want my child to see me being loved right. It sounds sweet until you actually think about it. Because that's not about the kid. That's about her. She's not thinking, what's best for my child? She's thinking, how can I feel loved again? And that's the same mindset that ends most marriages in the first place. Women file for divorce over 70% of the time. And if they're college educated, it's close to 90%. And most of the time, it's not because of abuse or cheating. It's because they weren't happy. So it's feelings over family. Again, no thought for the kids, no sense of duty to the family, just emotion driving every decision. Then years later, they want a man to step in, clean up the mess, and call him a real man for doing it, while completely ignoring the fact that their own choices are what broke the home in the first place. That's not empowerment, that's entitlement.
she should not date anymore?
No,
Or
but-
she's
no,
saying she
but-
should stay with the guy?
No,
What's your
but a lot
solution?
of them are probably not you because you're, you know, a savage
I was like,
and
I'm
shit.
very
Yeah, no, I know you're
invested in this
different in every way, and that's
situation.
why
Yeah.
everybody loves you. But I mean, no, but this eagerness to like find the replacement stepdaddy thing
Yeah.
is, I've
Now,
never not come.
Last question for the guys,
Never
and
not
then I'm
come
going to turn
across
it
it.
over to the girls. Would it be different? Would you have a different perspective if you actually had a kid already?
Yeah.
So you're almost doing like a Brady Bunch situation.
Yeah,
all
but I
of these
don't.
guys don't.
No.
have
So
kids.
no?
No.
So you're just not trying to raise someone else's kid?
No, because it's like now if I have my own kid, now I got 2 little niggas I gotta take care of.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's
Nobody
not-
wants that.
And same thing. Now my kid's wondering where's mom and who's this thought.
Got it. Okay.
Same thing.
Troy, if you had a
Confuse the
kid, would you
children.
be a little more comfortable?
No, because I came from my parents divorced, and then we got sort of put together into another family, and I mean, that was problematic. It's not always like Kevin was saying. I mean, when you think about the kids in these situations being brought up, that there can be a lot of problems in those situations. So I would be very, even if I had a kid, I'd be very wary about just sort of like
Gotcha.
shoving
Ladies,
it together.
Here's where I need your help. How many people here have kids? Tracy, Janelle.
Put a green
So there's
flag.
2 of you
You're
ladies.
like, damn it.
Okay. Don't look around. Look right at me. Raise your red or your green. Should men date single moms? Hold it up high. Hold it up high. Pixie, we have. Okay, guys, I don't flicker it.
They're in between.
We have red. We have green, 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 green. So most of it is green. 4 or 5 of you is red. So Tracy, you put your green up
Yes.
because you're a single mom.
Yes.
Sell us on why one of these gentlemen should be your new boy toy, baby daddy situation.
No, I think that there's people in the world for everybody. I don't think anyone should be my son's father. I think someone that's going to come to my life will love me and eventually end up loving my son, but I am not looking for a baby daddy. I am
Okay.
looking for a partner.
I'm listening
And
very
that's the
closely
difference.
to this one.
So,
So nobody's replacing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So-
You know what gets me? These single moms always talk about how everyone has someone, but somehow the one person their child actually needed, the father, doesn't count. You can't talk about love and new beginnings when the original family you built is sitting broken because of your choices. You can't separate selfishness from that. Leaving your home, your child's father, that's not strength, that's self-centeredness dressed up as empowerment. And the minute I hear a woman say she's looking for a partner, I already know where this is going. That word tells me everything. She wants control, she wants equality, she wants to be the man. And I don't do women like that. That mindset is usually the same one that got her here in the first place.
what would you say to the guy that's like, I don't even know, you're hot, you're cool, you're great. I can't even get over the fact that you have a kid, and as dope as you are, I'm mentally blocked.
Then
It's kinda
that
what you were
means that
saying there?
that's not the person for me.
Not
Got
quite
it.
what I was saying, but go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Can I jump on what you
Sure,
said?
yeah.
Because I have a lot to say, and I'll be brief, but I want to make a few points. First of all, you guys are all obviously talented and very much so respected in your fields, including yourself. And I know your battle with having children back and forth. But
What's my battle?
Well, you said you're ambivalent.
I'm gonna have kids one day
Yeah,
with
one
the-
day,
with
but
the-
like
with the lady.
when you were always like asking your friends, you really like it? Like, you know.
What's sex, guys? I've
Okay.
never heard of this
Anyway.
thing. What do you do with this?
Complimenting us
What
because you're
I-
about
They're
to say
naked. I
something
have
What
no
I
fucked
will
up.
clue.
say,
Yeah.
first of all, as there's a lot of single moms who have given single moms like myself a really bad rap. And they use men for resources, and they put their children before their serious committed persons, whoever, if they're married or not, before their needs, like their spouse's needs, right? And I don't agree with that if it's a long-term serious thing. So I think that that's to be said for why probably a lot of you, and more reason you said, I don't want to raise two kids. And that's honest, and I appreciate that. However, what I will say, the men that I've met and that I've dated and that have proposed to me, they wanted to marry me, and they wanted to be a stepfather to my son if I wanted that, right? Now, the thing about me that's different from most women is, even though I'm very masculine in how I'm speaking now, because I'm trying to make a point, I'm very feminine, and I let the man take the lead. And I don't try to say, my son and I are so cool, we're the best. No, I let a man be gracious to me because I'm feminine, and I serve his needs. I make sure his sexual needs are served. I make sure that his tummy is full. And my son never goes without, trust me. He's been to 14, 15 countries already. Yeah. So I think the difference is that some men, no disrespect to y'all,
Right.
are not cut out for that, because it takes a very extremely high alpha man, I think, that would be willing to say, listen, I saw all of you grimace. I watched all your facial expressions. Hold on, let me finish momentarily. That will be willing to step in and raise someone else's son. That takes a very brave, bold man. And there are men out there in the world who will do it when they see the value of a woman that's serving them and saying, listen, yes.
Did you say
You know what's funny? She started off so well, almost had me nodding, until she went and ruined it with that "it takes a high-value alpha man to raise another man's kid" nonsense. Like, ma'am, no it doesn't. It takes a desperate man, not an alpha. An alpha builds his own legacy. He doesn't sign up to finish another man's story. And notice how she keeps saying she's different from most women? Every single mom says that. I'm not like the others. But then, in the same breath, she's bragging about how her son's been to 14 countries. That's not femininity. That's subtle flexing. That's her way of saying, look, I'm accomplished. I bring value. But the real feminine women she's trying to describe, they don't sell their femininity, they live it. And let's be honest, the whole "I cook, I serve, I meet his needs" thing only lasts until she gets comfortable. Then it turns into, "I'm not your slave." I've seen it too many times. So no, it doesn't take a brave man to raise someone else's child. It takes a man who doesn't understand his purpose. That's not bravery. That's confusion dressed as virtue.
Did you say that there were men that openly came into your life and wanted
Yes.
to help raise your kid?
Yes.
Where are they now?
Well, I was going to tell you.
Why didn't they make the cut?
Well,
Them
first
niggas are so alpha.
hold on. First of all, I didn't choose that, and here's why. And I won't get into my personal. I'll just give you one example. He's very famous. He's in the personal development world. He's on Tony Robbins' stage, more than Tony is. So if you know the Tony Robbins world, you know who he is, and he's your color. Anyways, he was a lot older than me, and he didn't want to have more children, and I do. I'm going to have at least one or two more. So for me, that was he was very invested in my son, but I said, you know what? I'm waiting for that person who wants to build our own family too. He adopts my son, and we have one together. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I'm right now choosing to give my son a beautiful life. He travels with me around the world. I run my business. He gets to go to my retreats, etc. And that's what I do. And so I know I'm rare, but I do think it's a huge missed opportunity that men are passing on really good single moms like myself because they feel some type of way about it. And like she said, that's your prerogative. But you're also missing the most feminine, nurturing woman on the planet, or that I've been told.
That a girl. Troy?
So, she's saying the reason that she's not with this supposedly high-value guy is because he didn't want more kids. You know what that tells me? That was a smart man. He probably saw exactly how this story might end. Have his kid, then watch her use that child as leverage to secure the bag. That's the same playbook most of these boss babe single moms run. They want the family optics without the family order. And the way she says it, too, like she's the prize he missed out on. He dodged a bullet. Because if you listen to her tone, her body language, her whole demeanor, there's nothing feminine about her. No softness, no humility, no grace, just masculine energy in a dress. And I love how she tries to justify it like, I might sound masculine now, but I'm actually very feminine. Yeah, and I'm actually 6'5" when I stand on my morals. Even the lady next to her looked uncomfortable, like, girl, please stop talking. You could feel the secondhand embarrassment through the screen. And then the whole I'm rare line. That's the biggest red flag of them all. Every delusional woman who thinks she's the exception says that right before listing all the reasons she's not. But here's the part that really kills me. If you've got all these alpha men lining up to marry you, why are you on a dating show trying to sell yourself like a used car ad? You're not rare, you're available. And there's a difference.
And then I'm going to come back to you ladies for a question. Go ahead.
Listen, I completely respect what you said, and you're a very inspiring woman, and it's great to hear you say that. I mean, my comment on that is, firstly, what you're doing is what a lot of women will do, which is kind of recontextualizing what alpha is. So I'll say, no, an alpha man, a stepdad is a man who steps up. The guy who's prepared to take on my children, that's my definition of alpha. Okay, so you're defining alpha as that. Is that the actual objective definition of alpha? Maybe not. Maybe you could argue that the guy who just goes around the world and smashes a load of girls and has a fantastic time, is that not alpha? You would argue not, because that's irresponsible, but that's another type of alpha. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I was actually on another podcast last night. I'm talking to one of the girls there. She's got a couple of kids, okay? And she said that she's just recently got together with a dude, okay? They've been together 2 months. It's a long-distance relationship, okay, because he's in a different state. And he's already said to her, I want to marry you and I want to look after your kids after 2 months. Is that the action of an alpha male? Or is that the action of a guy who's needy and is saying that because he's desperate to secure the box?
That's different from my scenario. We dated
completely different to your scenario, but
year.
I'm just saying that somebody saying I'm prepared to look after your kids is not in itself necessarily indicative of alpha traits. It could actually be indicative of the opposite.
Let me get McQueen's thoughts here. McQueen, are you being sold on becoming
No, he's not. He doesn't want.
Absolutely not.
He doesn't want to take care.
I'm not hearing none of this shit, really.
You got the simplest answers.
Yeah,
you're not playing this game.
No, because it's just like, how you going to tell me I'm not alpha because I don't want to raise your fucking kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right.
He doesn't want to raise his own.
Yeah, like, all right, fine.
I'll take my...
You see what's happening here, right? This is the classic tactic, trying to redefine what alpha means, just to fit the kind of man who'll tolerate nonsense. Now, suddenly, being alpha means stepping up to raise another man's kids. Like, how? That's manipulation disguised as virtue. And then when you say, nah, I'm not doing that, they hit you with the shaming tactic. Oh, so you're not alpha? You're just insecure. You're not strong enough to handle a real woman. It's stupid. Straight up stupid. But I don't even blame the women for running this game. I blame the simps of our time, because they're the ones who made this delusion possible. They're out here rewarding the most masculine women on the planet with attention, validation, and resources. So of course, now every single mom thinks she's entitled to an alpha who's going to come fix her mess. And shout out to McQueen. Man's a straight shooter. He's not playing the stroke your ego game, not doing any of that I understand you, queen nonsense. Just pure honesty. I'm not raising your kids. Period. I respect that. That's exactly how men need to start moving. Clear boundaries, no apologies.
Really solid alpha it can put up a really good risk-benefit analysis, right?
There you go.
So if the woman is a great exception to the rule, you freaking head over heels more than anything you've ever felt in your life, that could be different.
Yeah.
But for the average single mother that you meet, a very basic risk-benefit analysis that you could look on data that's already available, you could look at the situation that you're presented with, probably not the safest route to go.
I think the truth is that's what we're all doing.
And that's
every
what
day.
most
Right,
men
and
do,
that's a
and
normal
that's
thing to
fine.
do.
Yeah,
That's a
that's fine.
responsible thing to do, and I think
no
that's
one's
what an
telling-
alpha would do at the
And
end
no
of the
one's
day.
telling the other side that this shows up as a debit on the ledger, so you're going to have to make up for it in another side because that's
Right.
distasteful. It creates an argument, and I think we grimace.
Well, a
because
lot
it
of
came
people do
across-
that. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, that I don't count because I have a kid," and I'm
No,
like, that, "You don't
it's not that
count
you
because
count.
you said that comment."
There's lots of things that aren't ideal.
But it's
But
also
you can make
I mean,
educated
next to
decisions.
Most
Still.
women in their 20s, and I will surpass all of them in regards to the characteristics that I bring to a man
I
and
believe
to
that.
his life.
Okay,
So
let me
thank
get,
you for that.
Tracy
Thank you
back
for
in the
that.
mix because
Man, there is absolutely nothing humble about this woman. She's full of herself, conceited, dripping with pride. Like, she genuinely believes she's the standard every man should measure other women against. Ma'am, you're a single mother on a dating panel trying to convince men to date you. Let's not pretend you're sitting on the throne of desirability here. And then, bro, this Kevin guy, I believe that. Really? That's the hill you're dying on? You can literally see her ego inflate in real time after he said that. That's exactly why so many of these women act this way. Because some dude is always ready to stroke their ego just to sound agreeable. There's no way a right-thinking man is passing up a feminine, youthful, childless 20-year-old woman for this level of arrogance and delusion.
Tracy, you're so nice and sweet, and you have a kid. How old is your kid?
My son is 4.
Your son is 4.
Yeah.
What's it been like bringing dudes around your kid?
I don't bring dudes around my
Ever.
Yes.
Ever.
That's the
Never.
answer,
No.
I'd say.
So no guy has.
I have my friends, people that he knows
Okay.
growing up, but I do not bring men that are temporary in my life around my son.
Okay, so what would it take to, like, how quickly do you tell a guy you have a kid?
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Good girl,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no
You have
point
to.
if he's just like, yeah, I'm out.
It's like
I'm
if you
not,
have
I'm
an
not
STI.
looking for somebody to think I don't have that.
Got it.
I'm proud of that.
I think
As you
So,
should be.
Yeah, I don't
No
need
doubt.
it.
You should
Yeah.
not feel
If it's
shame because you have a
like I
kid.
said,
That should be the
like I said,
proudest thing you have.
100%. I am.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, because that's
best
part
thing
of the
I've
problem
ever
is
done.
that everyone talks about the number one job a woman should have, the most important job is being a mother. Now, relationships sometimes don't work out, but you shouldn't be shamed because you have a kid. You should be definitely proud of having your kid. But how
You see, this is where the pandering starts. They love doing this thing where they make single motherhood sound like some badge of honor. You shouldn't be ashamed. You should be proud. Proud of what, exactly? Of the failed relationship that left your kid without a father in the home? That's not something to celebrate. That's something to reflect on. And the irony is, they'll say the most important job a woman has is being a mother, but then spend half their life chasing careers, clout, and validation online. Let's be real. If motherhood was really their top priority, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about bringing dudes around the kid. It's not hate. It's just accountability.
But how complicated is it finding a partner as being a single mother?
Well, it all depends on where you are in your life, right? Because for me personally, I'm in a point in my life right now where I'm not looking. Yes, I'm single. I'm not looking. I'm expecting for when I'm ready emotionally to bring somebody on board, that will come with it.
Got
So whenever that happens is when I'll allow that space
So last
for
piece of
myself.
advice before we move on. There's dudes out there. Like, I'll give you one story. I was seeing this girl, it was like on 1 or 2, I didn't really realize she had a kid, but then I found out she did. But I was like, this girl's that awesome of a girl. Hold on, Tiff. There's that awesome of a girl that I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me see where this goes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. You know, we hung out one time, it was great. The second time we go to hang out, she goes, hey, sorry, I have to cancel. Both of my kids are sick.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to cancel. I'm like, it's not even you canceling. It's because Dylan over here got a tummy ache, and I stay over there, woman. Nope, she's there. Stay there. It's that she got canceled. She canceled because of her kid. I'm like, this is really weird. I'm out. I hope your kid feels better. Here's some Tums for the tummy ache. Peace out. Boom. So that was the problem. So what's your final piece of advice to guys considering dating a single mother?
Go for it.
Well,
Go for it.
No.
Her first or me? Her
Go
first?
ahead. Her and then Janelle, final word.
So for me is you have to take a lot into consideration that a woman, the child doesn't make her. So, a woman can give you a lot of things, and what a woman with a kid can give you is a lot of experience. So you won't have to deal with the bullshit because we've been through that already. So
Got
we're
it.
very straightforward, and we'll get to the point. We want what we want, and that's it.
I feel like
You see how they always try to spin it like being a single mother is some kind of upgrade? Like suddenly she's this wise, experienced guru because she's been through it. No, you've been through failure. That's not experience, that's baggage. And then they tell you, the child doesn't make her. Of course it does. The moment you have a kid, everything you do reflects on that child. You don't get to separate yourself from that. It shows your choices, your priorities, and what you value. You can't just detach from your kid like he's some side quest in your story. These women always want to rebrand their consequences as growth. Don't buy it. You're not more valuable because you messed up and learned a few lessons. You're just older, harder to deal with, and still expecting someone to clean up after your past.
mother will prioritize their kid no matter what, though, right? And so for a man, if you're not okay with that, if you want to be number one, you're not going to be down with
because
that.
even in conventional...
Hold on. We got to go to the next one. Janelle, final word,
Yes.
10 seconds.
Okay.
Why should a guy sell me on dating a single mother? 10 seconds.
Here's why. Because a lot of men are dissatisfied in their sexual life when they get into committed long-term relationships. Women are selfless. They pushed a child almost 8 pounds out of their yoni with no drugs. We are selfless. So we'll be that much more selfless with my partner. I treat my partner the same way I do my son, minus the sexual
So what I'm understanding is single moms better be a little more frisky in order to keep that man alive.
What I'm saying is they have the ability to be very selfless and put that man first.
Every
and put
guy that has a kid with his wife is screaming right now, saying that's not what happened.
Again, you see how she's spinning it, basically claiming that because a woman gave birth, she's somehow naturally selfless and therefore a better partner. And there's that word again. Ironically, the only thing she's inadvertently said that makes sense is that she treats her partner like her child. If this doesn't scream run, I don't know what else will. This is exactly why context and discernment matter. You can't buy into the hype that they try to sell you. Most of the time, it just comes with baggage. That's why the only kind of single mothers I respect are those whose husbands passed away. Everything else is just baggage you need to watch out for. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives like this.